Hello, hello, welcome back to another Read It or Unhaul It video. Alrighty, we're starting episode 2, so all the rules are still the same. We got all of our books on the TBR shelf in here, except for the Sarah J. Maas Crescent City, because of the Barnes & Noble exclusive editions that I wanted to buy, but I want to finish all of the other Sarah J. Maas books before I get to this series. So that's not in here, and then these 7 poetry books up here are not included. I have a video idea for them, so I'm not gonna pick them for this challenge, but everything else is fair game. Here we go. I think I'm gonna stick with 3 books. That was, I felt, a good number. It was enough for a challenge, but it wasn't too much that I felt overwhelmed with the amount of books I had to read. And the colors don't mean anything, it's just whatever paper I had. And I have until the end of October to read these 3 books. But if I haven't started it or don't want to read it by the end of October, it's gotta go. Alrighty, first pick, here we go. It's gonna be, alrighty, we got a snowflake. Let's see what it is. The Midnight Star. That's on the 3rd shelf down. So the way the bookshelf works, there's 4 shelves here, and it's most excited to least excited. This is the 3rd book in a series, and I read it so long ago. I don't even know if I remember what happens in this series, but I either need to try it out or I need to move on from the series. So what a good first pick. Hello, it is getting so dark at 5:30. I hate the time change, but we're here, back in my car as always. I apparently live in my car, according to my vlogs, but I started the Midnight Star and I'm 70 pages in, and I'm gonna unhaul it. I read the first 2 books of this trilogy back in probably like middle school. I don't have the exact dates in my Goodreads since it was so long ago, so unfortunately that means that I just don't remember anything that's going on. I looked up some videos, watched some recaps of the first 2 books. I kind of got the gist of what happened in the first 2, and I do remember some parts of it, but I don't remember as much as I thought I did. So I figured I'd start the book and see how I felt going in, but now I'm 70 pages in, and I definitely don't know character names or kind of what's going on. The first 2 books is more about there's a fever, a sickness that goes around and scars a portion of the children, and some of those children have magical abilities. They're pretty cast out. So now, so it's like groups of these, they call them malfetos. They are a group of kids who have these powers and try and help society. Well, in this one, our main character, Adelina, is kind of going off on her own and doing her own thing, and there's this new plague or darkness that is wreaking havoc. And I want to keep going because Marie Lu is the author of one of my favorite series, which is the Legend series. But I'm just not enjoying this. If I push myself through it, maybe I'll give it a 3-star, but I'm not going to enjoy it as much as I would have if I just finished it at the time of reading the first two. So I think it's maybe at some point in my life, maybe I'll pick up the series again, but for now, it's just going to get unhauled. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Alrighty, second pick could be anything. I always get so nervous. I'm always afraid that it's going to be something I really don't want to read, but if it's on my TBR shelf, I should be super excited to read it. A star. Let's see. What's it going to be? Verity by Colleen Hoover. My sister is going to be excited about this one. She's wanted me to read this, and I don't know what it's about. I think it's a psychological thriller. I'm excited to jump into this and finally see either what the hype is, negative or positive. Hello, welcome to my car. I am off to go to physical therapy, so I am going to continue listening to this. I am already 120 pages in. I'm liking it so far. This is a psychological thriller about Verity, who is an author, and due to a medical reason, she is unable to finish the last 3 books of the series she's been writing. So they have hired our main character, Lowen, to come write the rest of the last 3 books of the series. And now we are following Lowen, who is staying with Verity and her husband, Jeremy, at their house, and Lowen is working her way through Verity's office trying to find notes and manuscripts for this series for her to be able to finish out the novels that need to be done. But as this is a psychological thriller, it's creepy. Like, it's weird, it's just eerie. Something is not right. We find out that Verity and her husband have 3 kids. They have 2 daughters who are twins and 1 son. And the 2 daughters both died within a 6-month-year period from 2 different reasons. And then shortly after those 2 events happened, Verity herself had a accident, and now she is medically unable to finish this book series. So it seems like the book is pushing you towards the husband being suspicious, but because the book is pushing you that direction, it feels like that's not going to be true. Lowen is now staying in the house, and Verity is there, but she is medically pretty much unable to function. And along the way of going through this office, she comes across a manuscript about Verity and her husband meeting. So Verity is talking about her and her husband, how they met, their sexual activities when they first got together, them getting pregnant, and it's very creepy. It's going back and forth between chapters of her reading this manuscript that Verity has written, and chapters where she's interacting with the husband. And it's just eerie. Like, something is just not right, and it's very entertaining. It's fast-paced that you're like, one more chapter. Like, I'm already 120 pages in the first day, and I definitely didn't want to put it down yesterday. I really want to know what's going on. welcome back to another book review in my car. I just got back from driving around for my job, so I finished the audiobook for this, and oh my gosh, where to even start? In the last clip, I mentioned how the two daughters died pretty close together, and how it was just kind of potentially suspicious. And then Verity had her accident. It was a car accident that left her in more of a mental and physical vegetable state. But when she's looking through her Verity's stuff, she comes across this manuscript about Verity and her husband meeting, as I said previously, and it continues to go into her feelings when she gets pregnant. I would say that people should know, like, the trigger warning of, like, it talks about pregnancy and miscarriage and child neglect, and if that's something that potentially bothers you and you don't want to read about, I would not pick up this book, because there's a lot of sad and, like, heartbreaking inner monologue dialogue with Verity not liking her unborn children because she is jealous that her husband, that she loves so dearly and has this obsession with, is loving the children more than the husband loves her. And this is what the kind of eeriness is throughout the book. It's going back and forth between present time of Lowen getting closer with the husband and learning and kind of being creeped out by the day-to-day activities that she's doing, and having Verity in the house, along with chapters of her reading this manuscript that she's found. And that's what's making the whole book creepy and odd, and it makes it a page turner. I was definitely very entertained while I was reading, but that ending, I'm, like, not even sure how to feel about the ending. I don't want to say it was like a cheap ending, and I didn't expect the ending, but it didn't really feel correct, I guess. The ending makes you still wonder, and, like, some reviews that I've read believe the ending, don't believe the ending, and I'm not sure what boat I'm in. It was definitely unexpected, and I'm definitely glad I read this and I finished it. My sister really wanted me to read this, so I'm glad I finally got around to it. But I would say I give it a 3-star. And I had an entertaining time with it, and I don't think that people shouldn't read it, but I felt the ending didn't resolve as much as I was hoping it to resolve. There's also no possibility that all answers were going to be given, so I understood why it ended the way it did. Overall, 3 stars, fast-paced read, and I'm glad everyone out there who does love this book, I'm glad they really liked it, and I'm glad to be a part of knowing what goes on. We're on to our last pick already. We've got some good books so far, so I'm not as nervous now, because I think I got some good ones. So, what's it gonna be? I hope it's one of the ones that I've recently bought, and because I'm really excited about those, but alright. Another snowflake. Alright. Enders. It's on the last shelf. Enders. This is another series. The first one is Starters, and Lissa Price is the author of this one. And it's a dystopian world, and I read the first one so long ago that I just didn't remember a lot from it. So I think that's why I've postponed, I guess, reading the second one. I think it's only a duology. So, wow, what good choices this month. So, Happy reading to me. Alrighty, on to the last book. This is Enders by Lissa Price. This is the second book in the duology to Starters. This is a dystopian world. Our main character is trying to get money for her sick younger brother. In this dystopian world, you're able to rent out your body to the Enders, which is the older generation, and they will use the younger people's bodies, the starters, to go do whatever they want to do. And that's how she plans to make her money. She does that. She gets into this drama. There's a plot twist at the end. I read this back in 2017, which it's crazy to think about, that is 7 years ago. And I gave it, 4 stars at the time. I definitely really liked this. I don't remember a lot about it. I don't remember what the plot twist at the end was, and I can't find it anywhere online that's not behind me paying money for it. And I feel like we're just going to get into that situation like the Midnight Star, where I'm going to start this second book, and I'm just not going to know what's kind of happening. I just don't really care about the characters and about the story. I'm still going to keep this one because I read it, but I'm going to decide to unhaul this. I just don't see myself enjoying this, and I just have a lot of other books that I want to get to more, so it's going to happen. It's crazy that the TBR jar chose 2 series that I've been just holding on to for years, and the TBR universe was telling me I needed to just read it or unhaul it and stop holding on to these books for years. I wish that I would have been able to read them closer to the first ones, but it is what it is. I don't feel like rereading this. So there we are. We're finishing it off. We got the first book, The Midnight Star by Marie Lu, unhauling. Verity by Colleen Hoover. I read this and gave it 3 stars. And Enders by Lissa Price, and I'm unhauling this. Thank you so much for being here and watching this through. I hope to do this again soon, and it's so exciting to see what comes out of the TBR jar. There we go, finishing it up. Thanks for being here. Feel free to subscribe so you don't miss the next Read It or Unhaul or any other videos I post. Leave a like if you like the video. Leave a dislike if you dislike the video. Have a good one. Bye.